You were certain that that baby was coming. You weren't talking about your struggles, but you were so past the grief part. He showed up because you were, I've never met someone that was more certain about, I'm going to have a baby.
The reason I had that certainty was because the call the call literally came the day before the retreat. And so I just knew, like, this is it. Like, this is how the baby is going to find us.
You could have had doubts with that too. You could have told everyone, someone called and, I don't want to get my hopes up again. And I feel like that's the difference. What I saw in you, and the way that you were able to manifest it, is you had that 100% certainty. You just did.
Yeah.
And it was like this calmness about you.
Welcome to Next Level You podcast. I'm Stephanie Dingbaum, your host, your biggest cheerleader, and your go-to girlfriend for real, raw, and uplifting conversations about leveling up in life. As a mental health therapist with over a decade of experience and a business coach helping women elevate their lives and businesses, I'm here to guide you through the mindset shifts, holistic practices, and manifestation tools you need to step into your most authentic, next level self. Whether you're here to ignite your personal growth, elevate your professional game, or simply rediscover you, this podcast is your invitation to dream bigger, go after your goals, and unapologetically claim the life you deserve. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. It's time to up-level, manifest, and glow.
All right, Stephanie Dingbaum here with Next Level You podcast. You guys, it feels so good to be back behind the mic. I know I've been saying that and I probably sound like a broken record, but taking a month off was just like, I've missed it. So I have a lot of collabs planned, a lot of great people coming on. Today, I actually have Cori. So really fun story. I met Cori. It's been 2 months now, 2 months ago since the retreat I attended out in LA. I met Cori at this retreat that my business coach was hosting out in LA, and I just knew I needed to bring her on the podcast. So the day was filled with all sorts of healing modalities we had breath work, we had sound healing, we had yoga, there was like shamanic healing type, just so many different types of healing modalities. And I think it was after either the breath work or the sound healing, we were going around sharing like some of the takeaways from it. Cori's energy, you guys, it was just like magnetic. I'm like we're in like a horseshoe and I'm like across from her and I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, who is this woman? I love her energy. And she's talking about how she started off on her yoga mat, like in this, very just upright position, like laying how you're supposed to. And by the end of the session, she's like sprawled out, like her body is just like open, her chakras are open. And it was just this transformative experience. And so from that point forward, that day, I was like, I want to talk to this woman more. I want to be around that energy. So I decided to bring her on the podcast because I just felt she probably has a great story to tell. And, you listeners, typically, I'm assuming you're listening in because you want to show up as that next level version of yourself. And I just think Cori is such a great person to, one, like just share her energy with you. And hopefully you can learn from her story. And I just thought, what a powerful person to come on and talk about just how this retreat impacted her personally, spiritually, emotionally. So yeah, Cori, why don't you introduce yourself and I'll stop talking.
I'm going to be on your podcast every day. That was like the best intro ever.
Oh, you're sweet.
Oh my gosh, Stephanie, you know how to make people feel so good.
Oh.
You're so sweet. I almost feel like imposter syndrome. Like I was like, I get to be on my friend's podcast today. And I told a couple of my friends, they're like, that's amazing.
Well, that's so
I was
cool.
very excited because this is like my first, I did one other one like years and years ago, but it was different. It was an improv one. So I'm
okay.
Yeah. I'm so happy to be here. And and being with you after you're a new mama. Like the last time I saw your face, you didn't have a baby. You know what I mean?
Right. I was
before the retreat. It's magical.
That was a really crazy trip. That was really crazy. Yeah. It was. I was ending one chapter and then I left and it's like I started a new chapter as soon as we returned, I feel like. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the retreat for me was like all the people that were there were saying like there's a shift. There's good things coming. There's going to be a little lull, but like you're going to feel it. And I think everyone there kind of knew that, like intuitively.
I think so.
And it was just like this, it was the catalyst for us to, it was kind of like the trampoline. We just needed to get on it and then we could jump. And like, I feel like everybody was on the cusp of something there. And it's really cool to watch us all like, I don't know, move. I walked with Allie the other day.
Good. Yeah, she's been on here too.
Yeah, another girl that was there that Stephanie knows. She and I have been wanting to walk and we finally did. So
good. I love her energy too. I love that. So what initially got you interested in the retreat, or how did you know Julia?
So Julia, somehow the Instagram algorithm just pulled her up on my phone and I fell in love with her and I wanted to work with her and I couldn't, just financially, I wasn't in a good spot to work with her one-on-one. She's amazing.
Yeah, she is.
But I wasn't in a spot to do that. But we kept in touch and I always commented on her stories and everything. And then I was getting coffee one morning at Starbucks before school. I'm a second grade teacher and a girl that I work with, she was there with her son and I live in LA and this was maybe it was probably like 3 weeks after the fires. And the gal that I knew from school that I teach with, she was stopped and she was talking to someone on the road and this person was in a black car with her husband and I look over and it's Julia and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Julia. I felt like it was like a celebrity or something, when you see them in real life after following them on Instagram. And Julia also had lost her home and they were talking about it because they lived nearby to each other. So, my friend's name is Haley and Julia were chatting and I just stood there and I go, Julia? And I go, I'm Cori. And she goes, oh my gosh, Cori. Because we had just talked so much, but we had never met each other in real life. And then shortly after that, she said, Cori, I'm having this retreat. I have one spot left. Like, do you want it? And I was like, this is a God shot. Like, the fact that I saw her on the street and then, she said, Cori, do you want to come to this retreat? And it just so happened I had a professional development day that day and I didn't have to get a substitute. So it was just kind of like organically worked out. Like you just have to say yes,
Yeah. So it's moments like that really remind you like divine intervention is a real thing.
Yes. Yeah. And the house where we met, this beautiful house that they were renting, her sister was renting, 1.5 miles from my apartment.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. So cool. It was crazy. So talk to me about kind of like the transformation that you experienced at the retreat, because I mean, I think it was transformative for everybody there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was freaking transformative for me, but I feel like what was transformative for me is like here. And then what you experienced is like on a whole nother level. Like what did you take from it? What was your...
Wait, Stephanie, you have a baby.
Well, I know. I totally manifested that.
You did it before the retreat. Like that. Right. What? No, that is transformative. Like,
no, but I feel like you were sharing your hopes and dreams. You were sharing like what you want for yourself, what you want in your personal life and professionally. And I don't know, some of those healing practices, you like came out of your shell or something happened. Like what was that experience like for you?
I think, all of my life, I'm single right now. All my life, I've been wanting a partner. I want a family. And I feel like I've just been like hoping and dreaming and journaling and trying to manifest and taking action. Right. But I feel like if you follow all of these people that we follow, all of the greats that we listen to, as much content as you take in, you never know when it's going to happen for you. And like the light bulb is going to go on. And like, I think I wish I could say to my younger self, like, it's okay. Just keep going. It's okay if you haven't like experienced that, thing that maybe gets your butt moving,
Right.
For me, I feel like it was just a combination of my years on this planet and just finally, I think after the retreat, I was just filled with more certainty that I'm going to be okay. Like I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to meet my partner. I'm going to meet someone great and amazing, and I'm going to have an incredible life with them. And I think when you're single for a while and you're on the apps and you're off the apps, and I mean, every single girl knows it's really hard to stay positive and to stay hopeful. It's hard to stay trustworthy. And I think finally I actually wrote the other day after I went on this date, I wrote, I'm finally putting what God wants for me, the universe, creator, higher power, whatever you go call it. But I am putting what God wants for me first. And when you have that, like before you go out on a date, and when you think that before you go on the date, and even after, like if you're all excited or, I hope he texts, whatever, it's like, this or something better, whatever you want, God. And it's just, it's so nice just to like put that in, turn it over to God. They say in the, I think that's what they say in the 12-step programs, like turn it over. Yeah. And it's just like, I think finally I'm doing that. And I think my religion too, I've always had a complicated like relationship with religion.
Interesting.
And I finally am just like, no, I don't know. It's just, I lived in Atlanta for a while, and I was around at times the Christian faith and some people that were hypocritical, but it's like you have to take what you gain from it and forget about
what puts peace on your heart is what you take.
Yeah. And it's not, I feel like I've come into my own with that. And I know my own God. I actually think of God. My friend laughs at me when I say this, but I think of Morgan Freeman when I'm talking to God.
Yeah.
Because of that movie.
Yep. I totally get it.
Yeah. It's just, he's got our back, and everything's going to be okay, and we don't know when or how. I feel like the when or how really screwed me up in the past.
Oh, same.
And especially the when. I would be like, oh, I'm going to have a baby, or I'm going to get married at this time, and then have a baby at this time, and I'm going to get married at this time. And I just kept, going higher and higher. And I was like, I can't do that anymore. I've just got to be like, whatever you want, God,
Yeah. I love that motto. It's this or something better, because as of 2025, I just started living by that motto. And I just think, like you said, if you go into anything with the motto, it's going to be this or something better. And it's like you're looking for that next best thing, and you're expecting it. It's more likely to manifest, I feel. I mean, that's just my personal view, but I just love that you live by that.
I have so many mentors that said that to me for so long, and I'm finally embodying it, or just letting it soak in. It's like, yes, it's this or something better.
Yep.
I think also the piece from the retreat was the action piece, kind of. Like it was like after, I think, and I heard someone on a podcast recently say, she took so much in when she was single. She used to be like, oh, I'm just going to hope that God, whenever he brings me this person, is going to come. And I kind of had that same belief for a while.
Yeah.
And you really do have to take action. You have to make it a little bit more of a priority. You have to, try out different people. You have to really think about what you want. And I think I was doing that before, and I thought I was ready before, and now I'm really ready. And who knows?
Oh, I love it.
God might be like, no, you're not. But I feel like I can't wait to meet him. I just know that it's going to happen, which feels
that's
good.
Beautiful. Yeah. Ever since you shared your story at the retreat, as we've continued talking since then, I see a lot of parallels between your story of trying to meet your soulmate and my story of trying to meet my baby. And it's like, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like you have to get to a place where you could just truly surrender to the how and the when. And for me, what that looked like was just trying to find complete contentment in my current chapter as just a married couple, as just a professional, not just, but like it's finding that contentment in the here and the now, and whatever that chapter is for you. For me, it's an entrepreneur, and it's my marriage and the podcast and all of that. It's finding contentment in all of those things, and not constantly wanting that next thing, and not constantly focusing on how I'm going to get to it or when it's going to come to me. And I think that's why things happened once we got out to LA, is because, when I'm on the coast, I'm living my best life. It's
pretty amazing.
Like, Yeah, it really is. And so I'm not surprised that that's when baby came through, was like, I'm on this work trip. My husband's with me. We're disconnected. I'm not surprised. I just feel like I was living my best life out there and didn't really have a care in the world. Didn't really care if I got pregnant or not at that point in time because I was just so excited.
Your husband was with you when you were out in LA?
Yeah. We went out there together because he didn't feel comfortable. Well, I didn't feel 100% comfortable flying into LAX by myself. And he was like, I don't want you flying into LAX by yourself either. And so we just went together. Yeah.
What you said about
the surrendering.
You are when I met you and you talked about your baby, I feel like you don't give yourself enough credit because I'm learning this about you.
Yeah, you probably are.
You were so certain. You were certain that baby was coming. I mean, when I met you, you talked about it. You weren't talking about your struggles. Like most people that are going through, IVF, or they're trying to have a baby, or they're going through the adoption process. They're in it,
right.
and it's okay. Of course you're in it. You got to share that with others, but you were so past the grief part that I feel like that's why he showed up, because I've never met someone that was more certain about, I'm going to have a baby. You just knew it. You knew it was coming.
Part of the reason I had that certainty was because the call literally came the day before the retreat. And so I just knew, like, this is it. Like, this is how the baby is going to find us.
But even that, like, you were so certain. You could have had doubts with that too. You could have been
absolutely. You're right.
But you could have told everyone, someone called and, I don't want to get my hopes up again. I feel like that's the difference. What I saw in you, the way that you were able to manifest it, is you had that 100% certainty. You just did.
Yeah.
And it was like this calmness about you.
I feel like I've worked really hard to have that calmness. Like, that's how I want people to see me,
Yeah.
And it's like the energy you bring to certain situations is the energy you're going to get out of it, So for you, if you go into a date, for instance, or a date night, and you go into it with this anxious energy, you're going to go home feeling anxious about how things ended up going. But that's not how you want to feel going into it, right? Like, that's not what you want. So, I mean, when you're going through any kind of a healing journey or growth period, it's like you end up being very mindful about the energy you bring into the situation or the journey, because you know what you hope to get out of that.
Did you mindfully, did you go into that retreat like, I want to go into this calm because that's what I want to get out of it?
I was just so excited to be in a room with like-minded women. And I was just so excited. Like you had mentioned, like Julia, we hold her at like this celebrity status.
Yeah.
So I was just so excited to be amongst.
She is a celebrity.
I totally agree. She is. So I kind of hold her, I definitely put her on a pedestal a little bit. And so I was just so excited to be around Julia's energy and to be like at this really fancy neighborhood. And I was just so excited to be around like-minded people. And I have been really putting myself in, like, taking opportunities for healing. Any chance I could get, sound healing opportunity, I was going to it. Breath work, I was going to it. And so when she had this, it's like, of course I'm going to say yes. And I don't know, any healing opportunity I get, like, I just go into it, like, with the maximum benefit I can get out of it. I'm going to make friends at this retreat. I'm going to up level some way, shape or form. I'm going to leave with ideas for the business. And I did. I feel like I connected with like half of the women there, and I'm still regularly talking to like a decent amount of the women from that retreat, because that's amazing. What you go into it hoping for. And so it's all about, do you cultivate those relationships? Do you keep them, like, that's just important to me. So I feel like that's the energy I went into it with, was just hoping to have more like soul sisters, so to speak, more like-minded people in my circle.
Well, the fact that I think it's so sweet of you to be like, I don't know, to invite me here.
Yeah.
It's funny how things can happen so quickly. We met in March,
right?
And it's just, if you're really open to what can happen in your life, you never know what's around the corner,
Right. Yeah.
New friends, new relationships, new everything.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. So did you go into it with hoping for this like mental shift or?
No, I don't. And you're so sweet to say that. I don't feel like I really have had a magical shift. Maybe I have, and I don't even realize it. Like what you said, especially the relationship stuff. I think maybe I have a little bit, like you said, just the certainty thing. But no, I just needed a reset. Like I'm starting to just like, if something speaks to me, I'm like, I got to do it.
Yes.
Because, you know, I think in this life, just, you can't wait on stuff, you know, spots fill up.
Agreed.
The ship has sailed. Like if you wait 5 minutes, it's like, I mean, sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you can just sit on it and be like, okay, does this feel right? Do I feel aligned? But as soon as I saw, sometimes there are so many signs. And when I saw Julia, that was a sign. And she offered me the retreat, and the retreat, just so you guys know, whoever's listening, like her retreats, it wasn't as expensive.
Right.
As one-on-one coaching. So it was also more doable for, I think, a lot of us. And it was just, it just fell into my lap. And so I was like, I have to do this, you know? So
totally agree.
And it's amazing. Like anything in person, you know, with like-minded women, there's just something about the room, like energetically, the whole time you're just, I mean, I was like on a high the rest of the weekend, you know, it was amazing.
There was no way you couldn't be. I mean, one, just like what she all packed into that day, but then, you know, like people are sharing like their darkest secrets. People are sharing their like inner thoughts. Like we had all just met each other and people were just like word vomiting. Like, you know, how can you not connect with each other if you're sharing these like deep inner thoughts with a bunch of strangers? How can you not connect, you know?
In less than 24 hours. It's like 8 hours.
So wild.
It was amazing. And LA, it was like the best of LA.
I agree.
The house was beautiful, and it's why I love LA. It was a gorgeous day. It was just,
it was beautiful.
Are you ready to step into your most abundant next level self? What if I told you that what you wear and surround yourself with can actually help you manifest the life of your dreams? That's exactly why I'm so excited to share Future Self Apparel with you. It is a manifestation-focused lifestyle brand designed to empower you with affirmations, intentional products, and daily reminders to live your most abundant life. As a mindset and manifestation coach, I always preach about embodying your future self now. And that's exactly what this brand helps you do. Whether it's through affirmation-infused apparel, high vibrational products, or mindset-shifting reminders, everything Future Self creates is designed to elevate your energy, align you with your desires, and help you become the person you are meant to be. Here's what makes Future Self Apparel so powerful. Every piece is created with intention, infused with positive affirmations and a manifestation energy. Wearing or using these products is a tangible way to embody your highest self daily. It's not just clothing, you guys. It's a mindset shift, helping you stay aligned with your goals and abundance. I've been obsessed with Future Self Apparel as of just recently because it aligns perfectly with the work I do, helping women build confidence, rewire their beliefs, and create the life they've always dreamed of. So, if you're ready to step into your highest timeline and become the future self you've been manifesting, then this brand, this company is for you. Head to the link in today's show notes to shop Future Self Apparel and start living as the most confident, abundant, and aligned version of you.
So you said you are a teacher. How long have you been teaching for?
A very long time.
Really?
A very long time.
Like since college?
I will age myself.
No, you're fine. You don't have to say since college. Okay. Wow.
I moved so I taught for at least a decade in Atlanta. Yeah. And then in Atlanta, long story short, I was at this agency and they said, we want you to try taking a commercial class. We want to send you out for commercials. And I said, no, I don't know if I want to do that. That's my sister's thing. But I took a class and I was like, I love this. This is so much fun. I got like incredible feedback from my teachers. And there were like acting students in the class. And they're like, Cori, it doesn't seem like you've been doing this, or this is your first class. It feels like you've been doing this for 5 years. And I'm like, really? Like I had great feedback in that first class and I had a really great experience. And I was like, okay. So when my heart literally, I don't know if I've shared all of this with you. I don't even know.
No, I'm like on the edge of my seat. This is so interesting.
One day so Atlanta, I loved Atlanta, but I was itching to move for quite a while and I just didn't know where I wanted to go. And I read You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, my first.
Such a good book.
Such a good book. I mean, she's so good.
She is.
When she started doing her coaching stuff, I remember I paid $1,000 to speak to her 4 times. And it was like the most I've ever paid for anything. And I was
my gosh.
What I learned from her is like, I have a little bit of a scarcity mindset from teaching because it's just.
Oh yeah, I know.
I know. It's hard for you to get past it. And I learned a lot more from her, but that was one of the main things. But I read her book and after I read her book, shortly after that, it was like I heard a voice and I know it was a combination of God and my own, but it was, you're moving to California. And I was like, oh my God, I'm moving to California. And I was like, I knew like that I would say that was the first thing in my life that I had 100% certainty. I was like, I knew I was going.
Wow.
And my sister had lived in West Hollywood and North Hollywood.
Okay.
I had never really loved like where she lived. So I think that's why I never thought of it.
Sure.
It never was on my radar. But when I was in 5th and 6th grade, my parents, we lived in Alamo, California, which is a little bit north of San Francisco.
Okay.
And when I was in 5th and 6th grade in California, I just knew like there was something about it. I was like, I love this place. Like I've loved California ever since then.
Yeah.
We played outdoor sports and we were outside all the time and the weather's amazing. And, so, and we were also kind of you're ahead of the curve. I remember getting rollerblades and I came back to Michigan and everyone's like, what are those? And I'm like, like everyone has them. How can you not know?
Right.
And no one in the Midwest knew.
Oh my gosh.
It kind of took me a few years to get cool in the Midwest. And I was like, what? This is weird. It's like, California's so cool. Everyone's cool. I don't know. It was a different vibe. And so I think subconsciously I like had that. I was like, I love California.
Yeah.
But, and when I heard that voice, just one thing after another kept happening. And I was like, I'm going. And I remember talking to my principal and she said, Cori, just one more year, just stay here one more year, solidify the dream. Like, and I was like, I have to go now. Like, I have to go. And I remember closing the door to my classroom and saying goodbye to teaching. And I never thought I'd go back. And so I moved to California. I tried the acting. I went full on. I didn't want to be one of those actresses that was like, I just want to be an actress without having any training. So I went to a 2-year acting school and I studied hard and I took a bunch of other classes. I took improv classes as well, which I'm still involved with.
Yeah.
Improv changed my life.
I bet.
But now fast forward, I went back to being a teacher because it's really difficult to try to just be an actress in LA if you're not on if you're not a regular co-star in a comedy series like I wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went back to teaching and I perform improv for kids at a comedy theater down the street. But it's funny how your life just takes these turns. And I never, at 24, I thought I would have 4 kids and a white picket fence and live in, I don't know where, but North Carolina.
Yeah, I get it.
And if someone told me you'd be trying to be an actress in California and you'd be performing improv, I'd be like, what's improv?
Right, right.
So it's really cool to see where your life takes you if you just, I knew when I heard that voice, I knew I had to follow it.
Oh yeah.
And I did. And I remember meeting someone at my school. We were going through a transition. Our school it was a school for dyslexic kids in Atlanta. It's such a great school. And we were going through a transition where our head of school was retiring and we were bringing someone new in. And sometimes that's difficult for a school, especially with longstanding traditions. And so we brought this person in and she used to be an administrator at a school, but she was a spiritual leader and guide. And she helped schools navigate that transition. And she came in and I had this vibe with her. I loved what she did.
Yeah.
this is reminding me, I need to look her up because I need to thank her. And I asked her after she came to talk to her school, I was running around the park nearby by our school and I ran into her.
Oh my gosh.
And I said hi and she's like, email me. I was like, yeah, I just feel like I want to connect. And then I was meeting with this resume guy, like a career coach to help me with my resume. And one thing he said, or the one thing she said was when I told her about how I passed her, she said, email her. That was a sign, like email her.
Wow.
And so I emailed her and I had coffee with her and she just looked at me and she said, she really saw me at that time. And she was just like, you know, when you meet someone and you feel like they really see you without knowing you that well.
Yeah.
And she looked at me, she goes, you know, you're going. You just got to tell your head that you're going because your heart knows.
Right.
And I just started bawling and we were having coffee at Panera. And I just remember being like, you're right. And then, like I said, one thing led to another. And now I've been in California it will be 9 years this summer.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Very cool.
Crazy. So crazy.
So you're still teaching, but are you also pursuing acting opportunities when you can?
I still have an agent. My agent here did not keep me when I went back to teaching. She said, Cori, you know I can't. A lot of the auditions are like 2:30 and school's until 3:30.
Right.
And I've thought about reaching out to her again and trying to see if I can make it work. She's wonderful. Yeah. She's just a wonderful agent.
Well, that was something that you had mentioned at the retreat about like, I would love to get back into that. And I was like, what is stopping you, girl? Like,
I know.
Step into it, you know?
I think, you're right. It's funny because I say, time, but it's like, no, you can pack a million things into a day. And you're so right. I mean, I do want to get back into modeling and just, I kind of want to be ready for the acting things. Usually when you maybe walk back to your agent, you should maybe have some new headshots and stuff. So I'm working on that. Awesome. And then I still have an agent in Atlanta that they'll send me stuff every once in a while that's worth it for me. You know, if I get it, it's worth it for me to fly back. But
that's cool. Yeah.
But but it's more, I think what I realized through the whole process is that I am fueled by helping people. And for a while there, it just felt like acting is like so about you all the time, like promoting yourself. I felt like, I don't know, kids and teaching, I'm fueled by helping people. I feel like that's what makes my battery run, you know?
That makes sense. Yeah.
I felt like for a long time, I felt like that was what's the word? I felt like I failed because I went back to teaching, you know, for a while. It's oh gosh, I didn't make it, you know, but I had to kind of reframe that and say, no, this is what you love to do. And I love kids, you know, I just love them.
Yeah. And it fills your cup up in a way that the modeling, the acting doesn't or wouldn't.
Right.
So it's worth it.
And we can live in the both and, you know, for a while I was just like, should I teach? Should I act? Should I teach? And it's like, whatever, like see what happens. And it's crazy to see, you know, the actually a couple weeks ago, my school and my improv, the comedy theater where I do improv, we did a community event where parents basically paid for the theater to be.
Oh, okay.
So it was just our school and us performing for like my students and other kids at our school and the parents.
Cool. Yeah.
And it was one of the most impactful days in my life because it was like the puzzle pieces, I saw them coming together. And I was telling one of my friends and she was like, Cori, the puzzle pieces aren't coming together. They are. They are there.
Wow.
And this was just a highlight to that's what you're, you know, each thing that you're doing right now is your authentic self. It is a puzzle piece that's already there. And so you can just be grateful for that. And I was like, so it was really cool.
Do you feel like in your current situation, you're living as your most authentic self then? Professionally, personally, and otherwise?
You know, one of your questions, one of the questions I think I remember, like what was the one thing that you wanted to manifest now?
Yep. Yeah.
Stephanie told me about the rapid fire questions at the end of her podcast. And I just listened to to a few. And I remember you said, yeah, what's the one thing you want to manifest right now? And the quote that stands out for me, that has always stood out for me, is Joseph Campbell says, "The journey of a lifetime is being who you are." And I feel like every year, every day, every minute, like I'm getting closer to her. And I feel like I'm not her yet. But the quote really makes me think so much, because to answer your question, to manifest it, like, or to manifest that if I can manifest anything, what would it be?
Yeah.
It's I want to be embodying that. But it also makes me think about like what I just said. It's like, well, isn't that just being present every day and doing what we're already doing? Like, isn't that being who you are, in the moment? For all of my life, it's like, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. But isn't the journey of a lifetime already being in the present moment and already being who you are right now,
Okay. I like that.
Because if I could just snap my fingers, I'd have my own TV show for kids, and like I'd also be doing so many other things off of that. I'd be public speaking, it's like, okay, I'm not there yet. I'm not on a TEDx stage, but it's like I'm slowly, getting there by doing these other things that I'm doing. That was all over the place. We might have to edit that one.
No, that was beautiful. I'm glad you explained that, because I just think a lot of times when we're talking about, showing up as that next level version of ourselves, I feel like a lot of times you hear expanders and different people say like, show up as your authentic self, and that's that next level version of yourself. And it's like, well, I feel I try to show up as my authentic self as much as I can. Sometimes there are blocks. Sometimes there are people that maybe we put walls up around. Sometimes we're put in these professional situations that we feel we can't truly show up as our most authentic self all the time. So it's one of those, I feel, somewhat controversial topics where people are like, just show up as that next level version now, and that's your authentic self. But it's not always just that easy,
Right.
I mean, I feel like I'm my most authentic self with certain people.
Yeah. And we are human, right? So I will act different in front of my boss than I will my co-teacher, than my friend, my, a stranger. Like but at the same time, like I feel like we put so much pressure on the youth, and our society is just like, figure out what you are, who you want to be with, and it's like, sometimes we don't have that figured out. Like I love Gary Vaynerchuk. Do you follow him? Gary V, he's so great. And he just posted something the other day that was, stop worrying about figuring it out. Like 20-year-olds. I wish I had him when I was 25. Yeah. He's like, I don't know a 40-year-old that has it figured out. Like, you don't have to figure this stuff out. 25-year-olds are like, I haven't made my first million yet. It's like, well, I haven't either, and I never thought I would be, I think financially, maybe I thought I'd be in a better place right now. But at the same time, it's like, life surprises you, you've got to be open to that. And you've just got to just take one step after the other, and and just trust. And like you can't worry about, oh my gosh, I haven't gotten there yet. And I feel like I'm saying this to makes me think of when I was 25, but I also need to keep continuing to say it to myself, because when I think about that quote, the journey of a lifetime is being who you are, I think, oh, I'm not her yet. But it's like, no, I'm perfectly her for right now and where I need to be, and that's all we need to remember, is because all of your pain, all of your sadness, all of your heartbreak, all of, your trauma, all the things that you're working through, that's a part of you. It's still a part of you. Like a lot of, when I was like in the thick of heartbreak at one time in my life, it's like you kind of like wish it away, and you're like, okay, I can't wait to be this new person, but it's like, that will always be with me, and it's a part of who I am now.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's very well said.
I don't know where we were going.
No, that was very well said. I feel like society in general puts these really unrealistic expectations on like seniors, and you need to know what you want to major in for the next 4 years of your life or what you want to do as an adult, but you literally just ended your childhood. Like how realistic is it that at 18 you should know what you want to do for the rest of your life? Like that's so unrealistic in my opinion. I thought I wanted to go to school to be a nurse, and then I failed all my freshman year nursing courses and was like, fuck this, like this is not for me, and then I switched to psychology, and then I thought I wanted to work with kids, and then I got burnt out with kids, and now I have my own private practice. So I mean, like, I think you should have a general idea as to what your hobbies and interests are and what truly fills your cup up, but no way in hell are you supposed to be able to know what you want to do for the rest of your life, because what you want to do is just going to constantly be changing. I think gone are the days where you start a career at, like our parents' generation, I feel like they started a career at, right out of high school or maybe college, but not as many went to college, I feel. And then you did that career for 30 plus years. I feel like those days are gone because now it's more accepted. I feel that you can do something for 5 to 10 years and then you switch it up and maybe you do something else. Maybe it's similar or maybe it's completely different from where you were at before. And I just feel like that's becoming more of a norm now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And you don't have, like, nothing is forever. Nothing.
No.
And we always, even in being single, oh gosh, I used to just be like, this is it.
Right.
Oh my God. Like, this is the rest of my life. And it's like, nothing is forever.
No.
And that's both good and bad, and we just have to live in that and be okay and in the present, like always.
Yes,
like,
I agree.
I think you've probably heard this before, but all the manifestation people and growth mindset people say this, but the past is, if you're depressed, you're in the past.
Yes.
If you're anxious, you're in the future. And the only place to be is right here, right now. And it's so true. It's like, if I'm worried about something in the future, it's like, oh, okay, oops, I'm in God's business. One of my teachers used to say that. And then if I'm worried about something in the past, I'm definitely in God's business. Like, it's already happened,
Yeah.
And it's just, and it's really hard to stay. For me, I feel like in my youth, I was in the past a lot.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm more in the future a lot. And
Same.
I try to just be like, nope, feel your feet on the ground. You're fine right now. And we have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, and also, like, I also saw another influencer the other day say, none of this is real. It's so true. It's like, it's all made up. Time is a construct. Like,
right.
Everything is, we're all just humans on the planet.
Yep. Yeah. I totally
like,
agree.
It's like, we're just trying to do our best every single day. And
right.
Yeah.
And to speak to what you said before, with along the lines with like needing to know what you want to do after school is over, I also think society, and you obviously fell into this too, I feel like I fell into this too, was like, it's very much hardwired in us to constantly want that next chapter. It's like a storybook. Like, you're supposed to go to high school. And then after high school, you're supposed to go to college or into the workforce. And then after that, you're supposed to get married. And then you're supposed to have kids. And like, that's the trajectory of how your life is supposed to go. How unrealistic is that? Like, that's just not how everyone's life goes. And then you have a bunch of really disappointed mid to late 20 somethings who didn't follow that trajectory and are like, in their head, like, WTF is wrong with me? My life didn't go how it's supposed to go, because that's how, Hollywood and stories growing up made me believe that's how it's supposed to go. Oh, and then we have all these people, like I said, in their head about like, why isn't my life going that way? Yeah.
Right. And I was a Disney kid. I grew up on The Little Mermaid and
yes,
Beauty and the Beast and all of those. As soon as I saw Frozen, I thought that's what I needed when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Message. So I think all of us that grew up with that message too, it's not, and I've been dating so long, like it's like we went from phone calls to texting apps. Like, a lot of my friends have not even seen an app, and it's crazy to see, to see it evolve. And
dating has evolved. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't even know why I brought that up. I don't know.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, I just think it's so hard. I felt like in my 20s, it was so hard to just like truly be in the present moment, in the present chapter of life, and not worry about what should be coming next or what I hope comes next. I just feel like that was really hard at that age. And now I just feel like it's second nature. Like, I don't know. I think it depends what chapter you're in, but I really try hard to just be in the present chapter and truly be content with it.
Do you ever feel like you I always thought, oh, I'd love to go back to 25 or 32 or something. I think you are 32, 34. Okay.
But I mean, I would go back 2 years ago. Yeah.
But I used to do that. I used to be like, oh, I wish I could just go back. Sometimes I wish I could go back with what I know now. But now I get it. Now I get it because what people say, they're like, I would never want to go back. People that are older than me, they say that. I'm like, oh, now I get it. Because it does only get better. Because you become more and more of who you are.
Yes.
And you realize too, like these big numbers, like 30 and 40 and 50 and 60. You don't know as much as you think those people do at that age,
Right. Yeah. And I totally agree.
Yeah. It's like, I would never want to go back to 22 ever, because of everything that all the knowledge I've gained up to this point. I feel like most people that are, I don't know, most people would say that too. Like, no, I don't want to go back.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Cori, before we wrap things up, is there any last minute knowledge that you'd like to share with listeners? Any aha moments, any stories that you'd like to share with listeners that is on your heart today?
Just know how amazing you are and you can do anything. And, it's right now, if you're in a moment in time where you're really struggling financially or with a relationship or with anything, I think, especially with, the economy and everything, I think a lot of people are struggling financially. It's like, you're not going to be there forever and you can get through it. And it's not, sometimes when I need a pick me up, I'll just Google, amazing stories of people that made it after 35 or, Colonel Sanders, I think he was in his 70s when he started Kentucky Fried Chicken,
oh my gosh.
Stories like that are they're so inspiring. It's just like, I saw something the other day, celebrity moms had babies like at 42, 45, 47, 50, like really famous people that I had no clue they had their babies at 50. So like, I feel like our society is so just
focused,
stuck on the negative. Like whenever you get a chance, just try to just, move your thoughts towards the positive. At least that's what I try to do. And it really helps me just get out of my own head and just be like, no, there's another way. There's always another way. Right. And if you think about it, the people that are most successful in this life, they're the ones that took the other way. They really are, like every single one of them.
Totally agree. Yeah. I love that. I totally agree with all of that. I feel like I talk about that on the podcast a lot. So I think it pays to go against the grain of the sand. We do live in a very negative society, unfortunately. And so, be different, think differently. It will pay off in the long run to not think how the majority of the population thinks. Yeah. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So shifting gears, I want to end with some rapid fire questions, Cori. So what is one mantra or affirmation that you live by? I know you already shared like it's this or something better, but is there any other like mantra or affirmation that is just a really powerful one for you?
Be the joy. Just be the joy.
Yeah. That's the energy you bring.
If you feel like down, you be the joy. You be the light,
That's totally you. I feel like that's what you brought to the retreat was like the sunshine. It was just very powerful, joy-like energy. So that's perfect. Thanks. What is a small habit or ritual that makes you feel like your next level self?
Ooh, I think I recently started getting manicures. Just makes me feel really good.
Right?
And massages. I love a good massage.
Agreed.
Which reminds me I need to get one because I feel like my neck, while I'm talking to you, I'm like, oh, I need one.
How often do you treat yourself? Like once a month?
I would say massage. I'm not that great. Honestly, I would say every 3 months, but I should do every month. But nails, I've been starting to do it like once a week, every week and a half. And just, I think maybe in my upbringing or just, I don't know. My mom never took me to the nail salon. We didn't have nail salons, back in the 80s, or 90s. So I don't know. I feel like, oh my gosh, this is such a big, it's so bougie, but really it's not. And everybody gets their nails done or a lot of people. And
I just get a simple manicure and I just feel, I don't know, I just feel so much better. And I'm good friends with the lady that does my nails.
Oh yeah.
She's not a lady, she's a girl.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's
that
just
helps.
fun.
Oh yeah, it's therapeutic, especially if you know the person, and it ends up being really therapeutic then. If you could manifest one dream instantly, what would it be right now in your life?
I think, going back to what we said before, the journey of a lifetime is being who you are. Like Oprah says, I want to fulfill the highest, truest expression of myself as a human being. I don't think I'm there yet. And maybe I'm also, both quotes can mean that to me, I guess.
Yeah.
The privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. And then I want to fulfill the highest, truest expression of myself as a human being. I think
that
I keep thinking about this, like a TV show or working with kids, like everything I'm doing, I feel like it hasn't yet manifested into what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that is, like, that's what I wish I could snap my fingers and be in that.
Yeah.
But then it goes back to what we were saying, like, but I am, and I'm slowly discovering that. Yeah. And I don't even know what that is yet. So
right.
I think if I could snap my fingers and just be that. And you see it on Instagram too. You see
I agree.
these people that are kind of there, you can't really describe it, but they're there.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I want.
Love it.
And I haven't yet, figured that out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I love that. I love that quote, that Oprah quote. That's spot on. All right. Last one. What is a recent aha moment that shifted your perspective?
I think, just to go back to that Oprah quote, I think she got it from The Seed of the Soul, Gary Zukav. I haven't read that book, but I think that's where she got that quote. I'm not sure if it's her quote exactly.
So any aha moments in the last 6 months, year, that have really shifted your perspective on life?
Oh, that is a good question.
I know, that's a deep one.
Only really. Only what's right for you. In your own life. And I think also, I'm going to go back to Oprah. I love her. But she says, when you don't know what to do, just be still.
Yes.
And I think in the past, I haven't done that. And
agreed.
I've been starting to do that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, just I think sit with it for a second.
It's so important. Yeah. Because, I worked in the education arena, so I get it. It's hard to slow down. But when I have intentionally slowed down in my life, I mean, like right now, for instance, being on maternity leave, that has just been such a powerful, slow, I call it like my slow girl era, because that's when the biggest aha moments come. That's when I feel the biggest shifts happen, is when you're not hustling and you're just like letting things come to you. I think you're also more intuitive. You're more in tune with God's source, higher power, whatever that is for you. I think that's such great advice. Just give yourself permission to slow down. Beautiful. Cori, I'm so glad you agreed to come on today. This was something I've been wanting to make happen since the retreat, since LA. And so I just appreciate you saying yes. I know you're like saying yes to things more now. And so I appreciate you saying yes to this. And I'm excited to see where life takes you. I'm excited to see what comes of you like opening up and being vulnerable on here. I hope it leads to maybe an opportunity or two for you, hopefully. And for listeners, if there's anything that like really intrigued you today, or if you want to connect with Cori, if you're comfortable, do you want to share your Instagram handle? You don't have to if you're not comfortable.
My Instagram is Cori Bean. My sister calls me Bean, so it's CoriBean. It's kind of my personal account. I started another one called Yes Cori, where I share like inspirational quotes, but I'm still working on my whole social media journey. I used to have a website and everything. I used to have a blog.
Oh my gosh,
that's
so
another
cool.
thing. It's like, don't worry if you haven't figured that one thing out yet. It's
right.
I think I have 20 different Instagram handles right now. Just
really,
trying to figure that out. So
right. Oh, I get it. Yeah. Awesome. So if you do want to connect with Cori, definitely feel free to DM her if there's something that just really resonated with you today. I always love to hear what resonates with listeners. If there's something you want to hear more about, it's really helpful for me to know so I can bring more people on the podcast that can talk to that. So don't hesitate to reach out to me or Cori if there's something that just really like hit home for you today. And again, Cori, just thank you for being vulnerable and coming on here and sharing your story with listeners.
thank you for this. It was so fun, and I feel honored and humbled. So thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, until next time, I will talk to you all next week. Have a great rest of your week.
Real quick before you go, I just want to thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. And congratulations on showing up for you. Every step you take to invest in yourself brings you that much closer to your next level self, and I'm so proud of you. If you loved this episode, share it with someone who could use a little inspiration, or take a screenshot and tag me on socials so we can keep spreading the next level you energy. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Let's freaking go!